welcome to In the Studio with Maggie Ramirez. My name is Maggie and I'm the host of the show. And today we have a wonderful show that we are focusing on passion. What is your passion? That is the question. And to find that out, we have a beautiful guest who will be talking to us about finding our passion. Her name is Raquel Meyer, and she is a facilitator of these passion tests. Her company is
Integrated Authenticity.
Integrated Authenticity. And she's got a wonderful workshop coming up, which we will be talking about, and where she facilitates a beautiful space for an individual to have, like she says, a conversation with their hearts in order to find that passion. So let's welcome Raquel to our show. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And I want you to explain to our audience, what is a passion test?
A passion test essentially is a system that was designed as actually to save yourself time, energy, and money. And for you to go through the process and the steps to identify what is it that makes your heart sing. What is it that's going to have you wake up in the morning full of joy and excited to open your eyes and ready to just, jump out of bed.
What do you mean by saving you time, energy, and money?
That's what Janet Edwards, she's a creator, she calls it system, and she borrowed that, somebody else coined that. But save yourself time, energy, and money is in that most of the time, speaking for myself, I spent most of my life always finding that happiness, always being in search and working diligently and hard and falling down and stuff like that. Yeah. Looking for that, it's like the fountain of youth, right? that people talk about. But anyway, what it does is that there is a system. There is actually a process that you could follow, and actually get to that. And more important than that is that you could do it in one day. Where you could learn the system, identify what are the steps that you could take, yeah. And then after that, it's just a matter of you maintaining the system and practicing the system. So that's what the system is.
Time, energy, and money.
Yes.
And I love that you said the fountain of youth, right? Everyone's looking for that fountain of youth, but what is that fountain of youth? I think that the fountain of youth is different for everyone.
Yes.
Yes. It's different for everyone, because at the end of the day, it's not about only looking young from outside of ourselves, because it doesn't matter. We will grow old.
Yes.
No matter what. Eventually you won't be able to do surgeries and all this stuff. You're going to be old, period.
Yes. Right?
But that youth, the true youth, is within. And finding that fountain of youth is really finding it within yourself. And how powerful is that? Yeah, and time, energy, and money. So time, all the time we spend, right, on doing research and going outside and trying to find what makes us happy outside of ourselves. Energy is all the energy we spend on just these activities that takes us to try to find it outside of ourselves.
Well, even also, you said to spend it. I might say wasting it. And the reason why is because in my experience, I was busy wasting my time. The reason why is because I was looking for that joy and not recognizing that it was in front of me, not able to identify it. And because the true joy is into knowing where it is, to be able to appreciate it, recognize it, acknowledge it, and experience it. So if I were to look back, I would say that I wasted a lot of time looking for something that was thinking that it was outside of me, when in reality it was inside. And as a matter of fact, right in front of me every single day with the people who love me and the people that I love. Yeah.
And money.
Oh. Yeah, well, money in the sense of what? In that, how much?
Time, energy, money. Money, how much we spend
Yeah.
first on let's take it to the space of buying things that we think will make us happy.
Exactly.
Right?
My
That's
thoughts
one
exactly.
thing. That's one way of wasting money, or save yourself time, energy, and money. Money, not looking or buying things to fill something that is already filled. Just we get to recognize it that it's already filled, and then come from that space. And another thing is, how much money we spend on so many books and audiobooks and trainings and maybe psychic readings, so much outside of ourselves to find something that we have within. And I'm not saying that these audiobooks or trainings and workshops are not amazing, because they are, but they're not going to fill you. It's a space, like Raquel says, she creates a space where you are able to, or facilitates that conversation between you and your heart, so that you can realize and recognize and remember that it's all within yourself. So that's very powerful.
Yes, and what you said, because like the audios or the workshop, that would be one of them. So then what's the difference? Because what's possible is that it's not the answers. Because it's like watching a program. You could watch the program, but unless you experience it and you're willing to be a part of the one of the actors and the cast and actually go in there, that's what's going to make the difference. Right. Are you going to allow yourself to experience it and take it in and apply it in your life? And that's available in the audios. It's available in all of the tools that are out there. But hammer is not going to hammer the nail. You have to pick it up and use the tool to get that nail and hammer it wherever you need it, to hang that beautiful picture or however that might be.
Right.
And the other part about the money that you mentioned when you were sharing is that the other thing too is that we project thinking that, well, if money, with the illusion that money creates happiness, we also project that on other people. So we'll project that to our loved ones, to our wives and our husbands and to our children, where we're thinking, let me make all this money, I'm going to buy you all your stuff, and then we get frustrated, or relationships get strained because I'm doing all this work for you, I'm creating all this money for you, and you're still not happy. It's the illusion of happiness from money.
Right.
Within not recognizing where, with going back to my example, that the happiness isn't to actually be able to say, you know what, I love you, honey. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making me coffee. Thank you for washing my clothes. Or mommy, thank you for taking me to school, or appreciating the joy, the authentic, organic way of being for my children. It's right there, and it does not cost me anything other than the willingness to appreciate and open my heart. And be available from that space to let it in and recognize it. And it sounds easier than, it's easier said than done, but because a lot of us don't know how to do that, we want to do it. And that's one of the things that I love about the workshop is that, we all say, this is the 10 steps for this and the 5 steps for this and that and however. And that is available in the workshop. There are steps for you to identify. And like you said earlier, what I like to say is that I facilitate a conversation between you and your heart. I don't know what your heart is going to tell you. All I could do is to support you in recognizing when your heart speaks, where is it speaking to you from? Because from you, it's going to be one place, and I do that for every individual in the workshop, because I don't have the answers. You do. Your heart is there. That's where your answers lie. That's where your GPS lies, through your heart. And once you're able to get to that space, identify those steps, and after that, because now we know, wow, this is what my heart says, and yes, and this is what makes me happy, and this is what I love, and that's right. I've always thought about that, and I forgot about it. There's all of these beautiful ahas. And then what, right? It's like you have the big prize, and now what do I do with it?
Yeah.
So then after that, what I absolutely love is that I actually give you an emergency kit, so that in case the light turns off or for a moment you forget, and we go back to the the idea that, oh, I have to work hard because money to make happy. You know, those thoughts are always there. But then this emergency kit is there that you could just break it and, you know, to support you and transitioning you back from those ideas and not allow them to interrupt what it is that you've already identified that makes you happy, so that you could come back to that heart space.
Yeah.
Right? And then, you know, and I decided that for myself to call it the emergency kit. And depending on what it is, for some people it's the loving wife emergency kit. The other one is the loving husband emergency kit. You know, the I am passionate about life emergency kit. Whatever it is that you're passionate about, if anything interrupts it, you just run to this emergency kit, and the tools are there, and it's all self-contained. You know, everything is there in one day. And then after that, it's just a matter of you practicing it, because it's a step-by-step, very easy to follow. You know, if you know how to read, you know how to write, and you're committed to being happy, and to really committed to really taking these baby steps to exercise that heart. You know, every day it's like getting up and it's like going to the gym. It's the same concept. You have to just go into the workshop and not. It's like going to the gym. You know, the gym's open house, where they show you the tools and, you know, here's the weights and the swimming pool and stuff like that. But then if you don't come back and continue, then it's going to be like anything else, you know, a membership that we pay because we say we're committed to something and we don't follow through.
Yeah. I would love to talk about a previous conversation that you and I had about the importance of the passion test in a person's life, where it brings that clarity. It brings that clarity of what is my passion in life and the steps that I get to take in order to get there, and not be distracted with all of the options that the universe may provide that holds us back from moving forward in the direction that is our life path, because we're just not clear. We're not clear, what is my passion? And because of that, we slow down. And and that confusion holds us back in moving with that much stride and passion and energy. Like you said, once I found my passion, I was like, right?
That's right.
So talk to us a little bit about what the passion test provides in order to have that type of clarity, and what does that clarity mean exactly? Well, at least for you in your life.
Well, the reason why, well, let me go back. When I did the passion test for the very first time, I was able to identify my top 5 passions. They're all important, but my priority ones are the 2, which is the number 1, empowering people and raising them up. And then number 2 is spending quality time with my husband and my 2 children. Before that day, I knew that this was important. I just knew it. But the thing is, I was doing one at the expense of the other. Or I would spend time with my family, but I really wanted to be in this workshop and support and be out there, you know, doing volunteer work and stuff like that. And on the other aspect, I wanted to do, when I was doing that, I would feel guilty because I need to spend time with my family. I want to. I mean, I say that I love my family. I want to be the best wife, the best mother, the best woman possible. And I'm not spending time at home and having dinner and cooking and, you know, things that are important to me.
Right.
That are important to me. So when I went to the workshop and I was able to identify, I'm like, well, no wonder they were like, it was almost like they're clashing. That's what it felt like. But then once I recognized that these are the most important thing, once you know what they are, the secret is that you get to always choose in favor of your passion whenever you're faced with a choice, decision, or opportunity. So once that happens, so if somebody says, hey, you know, let's go disco dancing or however it is, and even though, yes, I love disco and I want to go and dance, but is that in favor of what I say that I'm committed to?
Yeah.
And the answer is no. The answer right now for me is no. So then based on that, it just allowed me to put aside put aside a lot of stuff that was getting in the way to what I said was important to me. So all of the stuff that was like, oh, I was thinking, and do I do this, and do I do the other, do I do all these things? It was just quiet. And I was like, whoa. You know, and then because now I know what I'm absolutely happy to do, then now I wake up in the morning, all this energy. Like, I'm like, who is this person, right? No coffee, no Red Bull or any of that stuff, you know, no energy drinks. And I get up and now I hurry up and go to work and do all of this stuff that I need to do, you know, so that once I'm done and I file and I make phone calls or however, all my office stuff, now I could go and have lunch with my kids, or I could go make dinner, or now I could, you know, do my workshop. Because ever since the passion test, I didn't know that until I took it. That is what I have decided to give away to the world. That's it. That's my platform. From there, I'm going to build whatever it is, but that's the platform to my philanthropical empire. And yes, I just said it.
That's awesome. I love it.
You know, and then I do that in collaboration and not at the expense of my family. You know, and because I do that and my husband sees it, then without me asking for it, there's even more support, that is available because of that, because he recognizes that I'm not forgetting him.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not forgetting my children, you know, and this is something that I chose that's important to me. Having, being in a good relationship with my husband and being in a relationship with my children is important to me. And I had an opportunity to sit with it and to get really clear. It's like, no, I want to be a mom. I want to be a wife. You know, at one point, you know, it's like my kids are going to leave the nest, and then, you know, I could, you know, go out and maybe do more.
Yeah.
But so long as my husband is a part of that journey, because I don't, and because of that, as a matter of fact, because I've created that and I created that clarity and distinction, I noticed that because I don't want to leave home to empower the world is coming to my home. Mm-hmm. You know, perfect example being here with you today is an opportunity for me to speak to your audience, you know, to speak to Almonte, you know, and I don't have to go and knock on everybody's door and say, hey, you know, you want to connect to your heart, you know, let's come out and play. You know, I could do this, you know, and I could go home and make dinner and do laundry and fold clothes, you know, stuff that I want to be able to do, you know, on a regular basis or on a weekly basis. Not every day, maybe once a week, but you know, I want to feel, experience my that life and enjoy it and be a part of that at the same time doing my number one, which is empowering people.
I think that's one of the conversations that you and I had on one of our private moments, but I think that that's what brings that clarity of being able to say, well, I am a mom, I am a wife, but knowing that you're passionate about being a mom and a wife, that it shifts the whole spectrum to want to do laundry and love folding the clothes and hanging and ironing and everything that goes along with washing your children's clothes, your husband's clothes, your partner's clothes. Why? Because you're passionate about that. Mm-hmm. And because of that, and coming into the realization that you are, then that provides that happiness in the action of being that, which is what I've recognized with myself as well, which is something that I've shifted with my life in the past 6 months, where I really put everything in perspective and began to say, well, what is my priority? And created that 80-20 lifestyle where 80% of my time is now spent with my passion, with my love, you know, which is my family, which is my friends, my loved ones. And that's a huge priority, more than anything in life, more than anything. And everything else from that comes second. And although I get to do everything else that I do, and I get to continue to allow the universe to provide all of the resources for me to continue to do what I am also passionate for, but allow me to continue to have my 80%, which is my family. And being able to get to that space, everything else is done with so much more joy instead of it's my responsibility as a wife, as a mother. And I think that it can be that. It can be something as just simply having the passion about being a mom and recognizing that that's what you like to do, or being a wife, or being a housewife, or whatnot. But aside from that, then you take it to another perspective in a different picture, where now let's talk about Jack Canfield and what came out of his passion test. So would you share that with us, please?
Yes, of course. I love this story. Jack Canfield is the one who created Chicken Soup for the Soul, that series that is known worldwide and translated in so many languages. I think when Janet Atwood was writing the book, The Passion Test, she was at the same hotel where Jack Canfield was. They were facilitating a seminar. There were presenters, and Janet Atwood wanted to do after she was done, she knew that Jack Canfield was there and wanted to have him do the passion test so that he could provide a testimonial of his experience, so that she could include it in the book that she was writing. And so she runs after him, and he's a very busy man. He's a world transformational leader. And he says, well, he's on his way to the airport and he doesn't have time to do this. I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'll go in the taxi with you, and I'll ride with you. And he's like, oh, okay, fine. She made it very difficult for him to say no. So then, it's like, okay, meet me at the lobby. I'm going to be picked up at X time. And she does, of course. She's there, ready, eager. And they jump in the cabin, and she goes through the system with him, only the system part of it, not the whole workshop, but the system part of it, to identify what are his top 5 passions. So they go through this, and they do this on a piece of paper, I think it was a napkin. And they're doing this, and she's writing it down. They're going down the list. They're following the system and going through it. And, of course, she's not surprised that in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, they're all in alignment to what he's already doing. He's already changing the world. He's already making a difference. He's already world renowned. All of that stuff is already there. So just for curiosity, she went into number 6 to see, well, let's find out what your number 6 is. So part of number 6 has to do with him being in a group of transformational leaders that he didn't know about. It was somewhere floating in the back of his mind, and she brought it to his awareness, brought it forward, and it was not only did he make it part of the list, but it made number 6. So that means it's pretty important. Yeah. So from that awareness, what he actually did is within a year, he actually created the Transformational Leadership Council. That, those are people that I'm sure you've spoken to your guest about. You talk about Betty Sproul, Ray Blanchard, there's a lot more people.
Don Miguel Ruiz.
Oh, Don Miguel Ruiz. Janet Bray Atwood was actually an honorary member, because if it weren't for her,
it wouldn't have been created.
It wouldn't even exist. And it was just so powerful that it created this humongous gift to the world, because he said yes to a process that took a couple of minutes, a system for him to identify what he thought he already knew. And then not only that, speaking of family, he also noticed that, well, you know what? I think I need to spend a little bit more time with my family. So he didn't say, I haven't read anything more about what he says about it, but the point is that he made a shift in his life to make sure that it's congruent to what he says he loves. So that's what's possible. It just puts it here. And then the question is after, because I say that I love it and I'm committed to, so then what's my action step? What am I going to do now? What am I going to say now? How am I going to be now? How am I going to react now? Am I going to react? It doesn't dictate, but it affords an inner guidance that we think it's outside of us, but in reality is here, and it's brought to forward because our heart speaks to us. We have it in a piece of paper, we have it here, and then there's all these little steps that I provide in the workshop to allow them to always keep it in the forefront and come back to it and measure it and guide it, and have an emergency kit in case you've got to get off of it. There's all these little things that now, and I say it in the workshop, like, you don't have an excuse anymore. If you say, you said that you want to be happy and you want to know what makes your heart sing, and you want to find your life's path, or you want to see, you want to find your true inner guidance, now you have it.
Yeah.
So now after today, you can't say, oh, I wish, or I didn't know, and only if, or pray for it at night. You could still do it, so that you could get clearer, or to follow and have the courage to continue to do that, or the discipline and things like that to follow it. Because in doing so, sometimes, why I say courage is because sometimes we have to say no. And that takes courage. I've learned to say no, and also to say yes, and also to say yes to actually being happy.
Yeah, it's the importance of the sacred no and the sacred yes.
Yes,
because everyone talks about the sacred yes, but there's the yin and the yang, and the yang to the yes is the no, and being able to say no, thank you, or not right now. This is not for me right now. And by being able to find that passion, you in a way create your own self, coach, your own life coach within yourself, to have that guidance of the direction that you get to go based on what you say you want. Period. And that is what this workshop will provide for you. And the next workshop that she'll be having will be held here at the studio, and you can go to
integratedauthenticity.com.
Authenticity.com, and you can register there. If you do have any questions, you can submit your information there. You can submit any questions or comments that you may have. And if you don't, or you're not around the area, you can go to the website and you can purchase a charm that she has created that is also a reminder of your passion, and being able to continue to focus on that passion, so that your life just becomes so much easier. And by supporting and purchasing one of these beautiful charms, you're also being a sponsor to one of our youths to come and take this passion test in February. It's February 22nd.
Yes.
Here in El Monte. We're creating this space for our community to come here and take the workshop. Go to the website, check it out. I hope to see you here February 22nd, 2014. And Raquel, thank you so much for being here and
welcome.
Sharing your beautiful self and beautiful essence, and for making a difference in this planet, because the more we do together, the closer we'll get to it.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you next time.